What if Tyrannosaurus Rex was an overgrown chicken? Since the discovery of the first remains of Tyrannosaurus Rex more than 100 years ago, and until recently, it appeared to most people as a huge, toothy, bipedal lizard. In many ways, this image was created by modern mass culture. But what was the disappointment of scientists who came to the conclusion that the most terrible predator of the age of dinosaurs, as a result, degenerated into an ordinary domestic chicken? In this video, we will talk about the discovery of family relationships between dinosaurs and modern birds, and also find out how close relatives of domestic chickens and theropods are that of the Tyrannosaur family. Viewers who subscribe to our channel will be the first to know about the appearance of new videos about the life of dinosaurs and other living organisms that inhabited our Earth at different times. Our subscribers can express their opinion about the work of the creators of the channel in the comments and support us with likes. The first finds of Tyrannosaurus Rex bones were made by the American paleontologist Barnum Brown in 1902. These were scattered bones, from which scientists were able to collect only the hind limbs. But in 1908, a skeleton fell into the hands of researchers, almost 50% preserved. The main thing in this find was a well-preserved skull. Impressed by its jaws and teeth, scientists named this giant the Tyrant King of Lizards. According to modern estimates, Tyrannosaurus could reach 12 to 13 meters in length and have a height of up to 4 meters. They lived on the territory of the modern USA and Canada, and also, possibly, lived in the Asian part of Russia and neighboring states. The T-Rex weighed about 6 to 9 tons. Such dimensions, combined with huge claws and teeth, powerful hind limbs, and a large head and strong neck, allowed scientists to put this monster at the top of the food pyramid of the late Cretaceous period. For many years, T-Rex became the personification of the greatness and bloodthirstiness of dinosaurs. But after the appearance of data of the presence of feather cover in dinosaurs, many looked at this monster at a slightly different angle. Although there is no reliable data on the presence of feathers on the Tyrannosaurus itself, many facts have appeared that have proved its undoubted relationship with modern chickens. One of the most important finds proving the origin of birds from dinosaurs is without a doubt such a mysterious creature as Archaeopteryx. It has features that are characteristic of both types of creatures and is considered a transitional form between them. In the modern classification, the Archaeopteryx family belongs to the class birds, but this creature differs very much from modern representatives of this class. Archaeopteryx lived on the territory of the European continent about 150 million years ago in the Jurassic period. Its weight was about 1 kilogram, and the dimensions could reach 50 to 55 centimeters. Scientists suggest he was a predator and may have been able to fly. In this, he was helped by almost full-fledged wings covered with feathers. But at the same time, his jaws were equipped with sharp teeth and did not at all resemble a beak. He also possessed such signs of a dinosaur as claws on the forelimb and a bony tail. Currently, science knows of 12 samples of the fossilized remains of this creature. Their study made it possible to draw conclusions about the presence of feathers in Archaeopteryx, not only in the wings, the tip of the tail, and metatarsal bones, but also on the legs, neck, and other parts of the body. At the time of the discovery of the first remains of Archaeopteryx, Darwin's theory was not yet recognized by most scientists as correct, and Archaeopteryx was classified as a bird. The British scientist Thomas Henry Huxley tried to substantiate the version of the origin of birds from dinosaurs, but it was not accepted by official science. Therefore, the T-Rex remained in the public mind for a long time as a huge carnivorous lizard, and science did not connect it with modern birds in any way. The next step in recognizing the relationship of dinosaurs with birds happened almost 100 years after the discovery of Archaeopteryx. In the 60s of the 20th century, during excavations in southern Montana, paleontologist John Ostrom discovered a dinosaur species previously unknown to science called Deinonychus, which means terrible claw. Brown was first to describe the remains of this dinosaur more than 50 years ago, but then he mistook them for the bones of a completely different dinosaur. Ostrom compared these specimens with new finds and classified them as a new species from the Tyrannosaurid family. Deinonychus, like the T-Rex, was a predator, but at a much smaller size. With a growth of just over 1 meter and a body length of about 3 meters, Deinonychus weighed no more than 70 kilograms. But the study of the preserved bones of this relative of the Tyrannosaurus allowed us to assume that he had not only the presence of a feather cover, but also for the first time to talk about the warm bloodedness of dinosaurs. In addition, Deinonychus had a fairly large brain. These discoveries have completely changed scientists' understanding of the appearance and habits of theropods in particular, and dinosaurs in general. In light of the discovery of new facts, John Ostrom re-examined the remains of Archaeopteryx and found a large number of similarities with the newly discovered species of dinosaurs. One of the most important evidence of the relationship was the same structure of the wrist. The number and shape of Deinonychus's wrist bones allowed it to fold its forelimbs in the same way as birds do. Also, along the spine of the Deinonychus were found openings characteristic of the respiratory system of birds. These are the air sacs. After the discovery in the 90s of the last century of the almost complete skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which received its name, Sue, the similarity of the structure and shape of its bones with the bird's skeleton became undeniable. But the presence of feathers was not confirmed even then. There are several opinions regarding the plumage of the T-Rex. Since he was much larger than his feathered relatives, he probably did not need additional insulation. A similar phenomenon can be observed in modern mammals. While some small animals almost always have fur, the largest creatures, like elephants and rhinos, remain naked. So in the course of evolution, they solved their problems with thermoregulation. Maybe a feathered Tyrannosaurus simply could not survive in those conditions, suffering from regular heat strokes. There is also an opinion that Tyrannosaurs were covered with a layer of protofeathers similar to the down of modern birds. Another evidence of the origin of birds from theropods, scientists call similar behavior in terms of caring for offspring. It has already been proven that many small bipedal lizard dinosaurs, such as Oviraptor, incubated their eggs by warming them with the warmth of their bodies. Here, plumage could also play a role. In addition, the shape of the found eggs of many theropods is very similar to birds. Of course, the oblong shape of the eggs is more convenient for their preservation. But other egg-laying creatures in the course of evolution did not come to just such a form. Such a giant as a Tyrannosaurus, of course, was hardly engaged in incubation of eggs. For this procedure, his body certainly was not adapted, despite all the similarities with birds. It is believed that they could build special nests, creating an optimal microclimate in them, as another relative of the birds, crocodiles, does. And in 2001, paleontologist Mary Scheitzer examined a piece of Tyrannosaurus Rex femur under a microscope and found a truly amazing thing. Inside the bone, remains of soft tissues are preserved, similar to substances that are formed in modern birds only in the process of gestation. Such bones are called midullar. Their presence in the T-Rex was another fact that confirmed the hypothesis of Thomas Huxley, expressed in the second half of the 19th century. Birds are descendants of theropods. Of course, to say that our domestic chickens are the same as tyrannosaurs that terrified the entire planet many millions of years ago is fundamentally wrong. But modern science has a sufficient number of facts that speak of their undoubted relationship. We can only assume that if dinosaurs had not died out 66 million years ago, then in the course of evolution, the descendants of the formidable Tyrannosaurus Rex would now look like fluffy chickens, maybe only a little larger. We all imagine Tyrannosaurus Rex and its closest relatives as giant theropods with huge teeth. And the babies of these dinosaurs are usually depicted as a smaller copy of their parent. And if the general public has at least some idea about the diet of adult tyrannosaurids, the feeding method of young animals remains a mystery even to scientists. But science does not stand still. Not long ago, the results of a study of the remains of a young Gorgosaurus found in Canada 14 years ago were published. They allowed scientists to draw certain conclusions about the process of development of the most dangerous predators of the era of the dinosaurs. Subscribe to our channel, then you'll be the first to know when new videos about the life of the age of dinosaurs will be published. Also from our issues, you can learn many interesting details about the development of life on Earth in general. And thanks to your likes and comments, more and more viewers are watching our videos. Tyrannosaurids include a large number of species that lived in Eurasia and North America at the end of the Cretaceous period. It is believed that they crossed to the American continent via a land bridge across the Bering Strait. This is evidenced by fossil finds in what is now Japan. These were large theropods with powerful hind limbs and practically vestigial forelimbs. Their main weapons were huge jaws, supported by strong muscles and a short neck. The largest of them is considered to be the species that gave its name to the entire family. Scientists estimate that an adult Tyrannosaurus could weigh up to 18 tons, but earlier representatives of the family were less massive. Scientists cannot fully determine the feeding method of the largest predator in the history of the planet. Most studies suggest that tyrannosaurs were active hunters. Most likely, they used ambush tactics. They made a rapid dash from cover, grabbing the victim with their teeth or ramming it. The impact of such a massive carcass could not only knock one down, but also cause serious damage, even breaking limbs. Thanks to its enormous bite force and the strong short neck, the T-Rex could lift its captured prey and shake it. Very few animals from the age of the dinosaurs could resist this killing machine. But this image of the T-Rex among the general public is largely formed by various artistic and documentary works. In fact, as seen in films like Jurassic Park, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is an advanced adult. Scientists find bite marks from large theropods on the remains of a wide variety of herbivorous dinosaurs. Quite often, such markings are found on the back parts of the skeletons of various ceratopsians. There is also evidence of tyrannosaurids attacking each other. This may indicate either a fight for females, territory or prey, or cannibalism. The fact that tyrannosaurs and their closest relatives did not disdain to eat their relatives is evidenced by bite marks on the limbs. Such injuries are not typical for dinosaurs fighting among themselves. Several scientifically proven facts support the idea that tyrannosaurs were active predators. Tyrannosaurids had binocular vision. The eye sockets on the discovered turtles are located in such a way that they allow the animal to look forward. This also makes it possible to better estimate the distance to various objects. This skill is undoubtedly important for predators, but among herbivores, there are many examples of a similar arrangement of eyes. At the same time, there is a well-founded opinion that the Tyrannosaur's vision was quite good. Some researchers claim that he could see no worse than modern birds of prey. We have already mentioned that Tyrannosaurus bite marks on the remains of various large herbivores are quite common. There are finds of Triceratops skeletons with damaged collars. and many herbivores had quite powerful armor on their neck and back. This suggests that protection from attacks on these areas was a necessity. These dinosaurs regularly encountered large predators attacking them from above or from behind. Another argument of supporters of the theory that tyrannosaurs obtain their food by hunting is the structure of their teeth. The sharp, curved back teeth, up to 30 centimeters long, had serrated edges. They were ideally suited for capturing prey and inflicting painful wounds. Large jaws and powerful chewing muscles provided a bite force comparable to that of modern crocodiles. Scientists are still arguing about the maximum running speed of tyrannosaurs. Some say that with such a mass, they could not run fast. Others believe that the structure of its legs allowed him to develop good speed. It is unlikely that a T-Rex could chase a car for a long time, as shown in some feature films, but it would be very difficult for a person to escape from him. And the dinosaurs that Tyrannosaurs could hunt were apparently not excellent runners either. Proponents of the theory that Tyrannosaurs moved rather slowly believe that the basis of the diet of these animals was carrion. Also, given their size and weapons, they could take prey from more successful hunters. Also, a good sense of smell of the T-Rex and its relatives can speak in favor of eating the carcasses of dead animals. Most researchers agree that Tyrannosaurs mainly obtain their food by hunting. But at the same time, they did not disdain either dead animals or their relatives. But all these arguments are valid only for adults. And they became like this only in the last 10 to 15 years of their lives. Young Tyrannosaurs were not as large and deadly. Scientists find fragments of their skeletons much less often. After all, the smaller the object, the faster they collapse over time. Therefore, scientists do not know very much about the habits and feeding habits of young representatives of this family. The discovery that we talked about at the beginning of this issue has become very important for the entire paleontology. Scientists examined the remains of a young Gorgosaurus that died at the age of 5 to 7 years, approximately 75 to 77 million years ago. It was no longer quite a cub, but not yet a teenager. The maturation of the Gorgosaurs began between 10 and 14 years and lasted, according to various estimates, up to 6 years. During these years, they grew as quickly as possible, gaining from 600 to 1,000 kilograms of weight annually. These Tyrannosaurids lived in Canada towards the end of the Cretaceous period. They were the closest relatives of Albertosaurus, smaller representatives of the family. Their body length reached 9 meters and height at 3 meters. The maximum weight of an adult Gorgosaurus did not exceed 2.5 tons. The found specimen was about 4 meters long and weighed a little more than 300 kilograms. Scientists have discovered skeletons of young representatives of this species before. Researchers were very surprised by the striking difference between adolescents and adult animals. It was also not entirely clear how such a rapid weight gain and transformation into adult predator occurred. One of the most likely explanations for this phenomena was a change in diet, but scientists have not yet had material evidence of this theory. Young representatives of the largest predators simply had to occupy a different ecological niche. An adult T-Rex, like any dominant predator, had to feed in a certain territory and would hardly tolerate competitors. If the young animals ate the same herbivores, then their older comrades or relatives would simply destroy or drive them out of their land. Quite a lot is known about the diet of an adult Tyrannosaurid. Judging by the marks on the bones and the analysis of the remaining coprolites, they feed on the largest herbivores. Such prey was simply too tough for individuals in the literal sense of the word. Their teeth had a slightly different structure, and their jaws were not so massive. They also had different body proportions and were slightly different anatomically from adults. In the process of cleaning the fossilized remains of a young Gorgosaurus, it turned out, at the time of death, undigested bones of another species remained in its stomach. About a week before its death, this dinosaur ate a very heavy meal. His prey was two small dinosaurs related to oviraptors. They too were not fully adult individuals and did not exceed the size of a modern turkey. It is believed that they were no more than 1 year old at the time of death. It is noteworthy that Gorgosaurus only ate the lower limbs of both of its victims. That is, he had the opportunity to choose the most fleshy and tasty parts of the body. It is also interesting that even though most of the bones were missing, these partially digested remains were important for the study of this species of oviraptor. Oddly enough, they are the best preserved fossils associated with these dinosaurs. When it became clear that there was something else under the ribs of the Gorgosaurus, scientists began to clean the fossilized bones from the rock from the backside. This was done so as to not damage the contents of the young predator's stomach. As a result, it was possible to preserve not only the skeleton of the Gorgosaurus, but also the remains of its meal. This find confirmed scientists' assumptions about the differences in the diet of young and adult tyrannosaurs. Cubs and teenagers ate smaller dinosaurs and the young of other species. They had to earn their own food. This discovery shed light not only on the feeding habits of large theropods. Scientists have also become more clear about the characteristics of parental behavior and relationships between dinosaurs of different ages. It is unlikely that mom and dad tyrannosaurs caught small dinosaurs for their children or shared the prey with them. They themselves had to make considerable efforts to provide for the needs of their huge organisms. Thank you for watching the next episode on the Age of the Dinosaurs channel to the very end. You can learn more about the development of various types of dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals from our previous videos. They also talk about the origin of life on our planet and the problems of modern society.